Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back again for your Wednesday night of racing here on the Intersim Esports Network. Tonight we bring you round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League. Your location is Sonoma Raceway. You'll see 3 races tonight, so be sure to tune in and strap yourself in for what is set to be a cracker night of racing. As you can see, there is the race information up on your screen at the moment. This is our last American round, and then we go across to the UK for round number 5. So the configuration tonight is the Cup Historic configuration. We are in Sonoma, USA, as it says on your screen. 3.16 kilometres in length is the track length. 25 degrees Celsius in the sim world. An altitude of only 6 metres. Broadcasters of myself, Aidan Schultz, and Paul Jackson. Aidan Schultz in the booth just for the meantime by himself. But the drivers are in their 20-minute qualifying session at the moment. As you see, all the drivers out on track. So will it be Jake Maloney again? He hasn't set a lap in qualifying. He's taken pretty much all the points that we've seen here for the first 3 rounds of the Skypoynt TCR League. Will it be him again tonight? But we'll just let you watch those pictures. We'll transition across into the actual pictures as we have a look at that. If we can take the track information down, and we can do that. So in the qualifying session at the moment, as you see the tower on the left-hand side of your screen come up, you've got Damon Mulqueen there at the top provisionally. We're about halfway through the qualifying session, so 9 minutes 20 of 20 minutes. Damon Mulqueen at the top with a 117.76. Matthew Brunt in second provisionally with a 118.01. Scotty Hasler there in third with a 118.24. Brandon Groch with a 118.46. Darren McKenzie rounding out your 5 provisionally with a 118.59. We'll keep going down the field as they're setting their laps. Jai Schultz with a 118.86. He is the lesser Schultz this week, so Jai, I'm going to say that every broadcast until you're the better Schultz. Robbie Bradbury there in the 8th position, 119.27. Troy Mortensen, a 119.34, taking the 9th spot provisionally so far tonight, with David Leslie in the 10th position with a 120.03. 120.15 for Adam Ariel, sponsor of the league, Ariel Auto Art. You can see on your screen there in the bottom right-hand corner, he's come on and sponsored the Skypoynt TCR League, as has Brush Seals Express down the bottom there as well. And another new sponsor here for the Skypoynt TCR League is DSL Welding Services, so a big shout out to them. Corey Brand currently in 12th position with a 121.38. Still another 5 or 6 drivers yet to set a lap time here in the qualifying session for what is going to be about an 18-car field when we go green for race number 1. So Brendan Groch on your screen at the moment, currently sitting in the 4th slot with a 118.46 as he makes his way out of the final corner up across the start-finish line here at Sonoma Raceway. We'll see whether he betters his time this time across the strike, and it doesn't look like he can do that. He's just done a 118.85, about 0.4 of a second off his quickest lap here in qualifying so far. Troy Mortensen coming across the line here to set another flyer. We'll see whether Troy Mortensen can go better and better his position of number 9 on the provisional grid, and he can't do so. 120.1, so about 0.8 of a second slower than his quickest lap so far here in this 20-minute qualifying session. Blue collar supported Troy Mortensen, absolute gentleman of iRacing. Troy Mortensen, we've got a big charity event for one of his friends, Damo, coming up in the next 3 or 4 weeks. He's played a massive part of that, as well as we put him in the wall, so commentators' curses have started early. On board now with Nathan Cook. He at the moment has not set a lap time here in qualifying, so this will be his first opportunity to be able to lay down a lap time. I'm not sure if he's on his out lap or on a hot lap by the looks of it with his green sectors, and he's got a yellow sector through the middle. So we'll see how he goes when he makes his way out of the final turn here at Sonoma, and he'll come across the start-finish line. So where's this going to put Nathan Cook here in the qualifying session? We're about to find out as he just makes his way across the start-finish line this time. So Nathan Cook has just jumped up into 12th position with a 120.32. So he's got about 3 seconds to find at the moment to have anything for the likes of Damon Mulqueen, Matthew Brunt and Scott Hasler at the pointy end of the field at the moment. But we'll see whether Nathan can better his lap this time around. Just keep an eye in the bottom of his screen. You can see all the relative sectors there. Jake Maloney's gone purple. So we'll see whether Jake Maloney jumps up in the qualifying session. There he is there on your screen. He has been an absolute dominant force here for the Skypoynt TCR League, pretty much taking all the points for the first 3 rounds. Can he do it again tonight? He's going to go across the line and set his first flying lap here in qualifying. Where's that going to put him? And straight to the top he goes with a 1:17.74. So Jake Maloney laying it down early in this one, saying, boys, it wasn't a fluke. I'm going to do that again for round number 4. As we're on board with you can't quite see that, Peter Kelleher there in the 023. He hasn't set a lap yet in qualifying, so this will be his first chance around Sonoma. We'll see where that puts him. Oh, that's going to be a no lap there as he's hit the wall out of the final corner. So Peter Kelleher is going to still be at the back of this starting grid for race number 1 if he can't get another lap down. But we've got 13.3, 13, come on, good job, Aiden. We're 13.5 minutes in qualifying. We've still got another 7.5 minutes to go. So on board now with Sam Katakouzanos. I can tell that livery a mile away. Team Bushfrink Racing, Sam Katakouzanos. He was quick in the practice session we saw before we went live, ladies and gentlemen. We can expect Sam Katakouzanos to be up there in the top 5 here in qualifying. We'll see that as he hopefully we'll see that as he comes through the tricky change direction section here at Sonoma, and he'll make his way down into the final corner. So through this left and right he'll come, and he'll come down into the final corner at Sonoma. We'll have a look. He's got a green sector and a yellow sector, so it doesn't look like his quickest lap so far in the 9.68, but it's been a clean one. So we'll see how he goes into the final corner here onto the main straight, and we'll see how he jumps up in this, or how he fares in the qualifying session with his first flyer here tonight. He comes across the start-finish line, the 9.68 Team Bushfrink Racing entry of Sam Katakouzanos. Where's that going to put him in the qualifying session? Only in 14th position with a 1:20.52. So a lot of work for Sam Katakouzanos to do here in the final 5 minutes of qualifying, but it still is Jake Maloney, Damon Mulqueen and Matthew Brunt, your provisional 3 here. We'll keep on board with Sam Katakouzanos. Have a look at his sectors down in the bottom of your screen when it does come up, and we'll see how he goes. Darren McKenzie's gone green. Sam Katakouzanos has had an off track there, so he's not going to go better this time around. All being that, it looks like he can take a lot of curb there. So Jake Maloney's gone purple as well, on board with Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie's gone yellow, green and yellow in the first 3 sectors. We'll see whether he can better his time here. He's currently in 6th position with a 1:18.50. He decides to take a cone there on his entry into the final turn. That's really going to sacrifice his lap time as he makes his way out of the final turn. He'll come across the start-finish line. We'll see whether Darren McKenzie jumps up a little bit here, as the times are very close at the top, and he can't do that. He's a 1:19.47, so that one mistake sacrificed a lot of time there, about 1 second slower than his quickest lap so far. We don't have Andy Barber or Adam Malone in here either. Andy Barber isn't here. He's in 7th. Sorry, I can't see Adam Malone at the moment. He might have missed the session, but Andy Barber currently in the 7th position. Adam Ariel on screen at the moment again, so we'll see whether he can go up here in the qualifying session. Currently back in the 13th position, a 1:20.15. Adam Ariel, all yellow sectors. I'm not sure this is going to be quicker for Adam as he makes his way across the line, and that's going to give him a time of 1:20.24, so about a 1/10 a second off his quickest lap here in the qualifying session, so not quite good enough to get the number 24 Ariel Auto Art up into the top 10 here in qualifying. So he's got a lot of work to do here for race number 1. As Damon Mulqueen's on your screen now, Jake Maloney's gone purple too as well. He's just done a 1:17.48 to extend his legs at the front of the qualifying session. But on board with Damon Mulqueen, we'll have a look at his sectors as they come up in the 42 entry. Different liveries here for Mulqueen, usually Synergy Sim Racing, I believe, but different liveries there for Damon. So we'll see Sam Katakouzanos is going green in the bottom of your screen as well. So Sam Katakouzanos will be looking to jump up from the 14th position, but all eyes are on Damon Mulqueen here through the final sector of this lap. Is he going to have anything for Jake Maloney? Not quite sure. He's gone yellow, so he's not going to better his lap time this time around, but I'll jump in here and I'll introduce you to Paul. He's ready to jump in. Joining me in the booth, we're late in qualifying. Paul Jackson, good evening to you, mate.
There you go, Aidan, and yeah, just had to get some food in the belly there. It was a bit late, so ready to call this race with you. As Sammy K just went full green sectors and put himself up into P10 there.
Yeah, good lap there by Sam Katakuzanos, 119.20. Not a lot separating the midfield at the moment, so it's definitely going to be a good race down through the midfield. But at the top, Jake Maloney is just a class above. He's about half a second quicker than Damon Mulqueen, as we are on board with the number 2 there of Scotty Hasler. So he's currently in the 3rd position. He's gone green sector there through the mid part of the track. That means he's gone quicker through the 2nd sector than he's gone tonight, but he's gone yellow through the 3rd. So he's not going to better his time in qualifying here and still sit in the 3rd position as we're 18.5 minutes into this 20-minute qualifying session. So we'll see how we go. A little bit of a insight into how tonight's going to work, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network. As I said, your location is Sonoma Raceway. Race number 1 will be 8 laps rather. Race number 2 will be a reverse grid, and it will be 9 laps. So we're going to see the winners of race number 1 jump to the back of the field and work their way around 9 laps of Sonoma Raceway and see whether they can make their way forward. And then we're going to go through to the 25-minute feature race, a 25-lap feature race. So that's going to be exciting indeed, Paul.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that reverse grid race and race number 2 as always. That always brings the action out as the faster guys try and make their ways back through to the front of the pack.
And there's a little bit of, I've just had a bit of inside information from Jai Schultz, the league owner. The winner of race number 3, apparently they're going to put on a little bit of show at the end of this one, and the winner of race number 3 gets to drag race the safety car down the drag strip, and the TCR is going to get a 2-second head start on that one. So that's going to be a little bit interesting, something a little bit different here for the Skypoynt TCR League, Paul.
I'm definitely looking forward to that because it'll be a front-wheel drive versus a rear-wheel drive as well, Aidan.
Most definitely will be, but we've just clicked over the 20 minutes here in the qualifying session. So that's going to set your grid for race number 1 tonight. We'll bring that up on your screen and see how race number 1 is going to start tonight. So Jake Maloney and Damon Mulqueen will start off the front row with Scotty Hasler and Matthew Brunt off 3 and 4. Brendan Grotch and Darren McKenzie will fill out the 3rd row in 5th and 6th, with Andy Barber in 7th and Jai Schultz in 8th. Sam Katakuzanos out of 9th here for race number 1. Robbie Bradbury will start out of P number 10. Out of 11th will be Troy Mortensen with Nathan Cook starting out of P number 12. David Leslie in 13th with Peter Kelleher 14th. Adam Ariel in 15th. Corey Brand 16th. Sebi Vandel is the pace car and race control. So 16 cars here tonight for the Skypoynt TCR League from Sonoma Raceway. So Jake Maloney and Damon Mulqueen off the front row. Strap yourself in. It might be a little bit of a depleted field here as we saw for round number 3, but what we've seen with the TCRs, it's definitely not going to disappoint. So everyone gridding up on the grid at the moment, getting ready to go green. We'll see how we go. That very distinct VRS-backed car of Jake Maloney. No surprise to see him on pole. We're used to seeing him there all season, but it's going to be a rolling start, Paul. As you can see, the safety car just in front of all the drivers at the moment. So rolling start here, as we've been made accustomed to here for the Skypoynt TCR League at Sonoma tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure Sebi Vandel there's just warming up those tyres for that drag race a bit later. So hopefully we won't see the pace car during the race, and we'll get all the action in that drag race later.
Yeah, hopefully. We're looking forward to that one, but we've got about an hour of racing to look forward to before we get to that, Paul. So we'll see how we go with that. But
I think we just skip straight to the drag. I want to see the drag race now.
I know, we should have done it in reverse, mate. We should have done a drag race by all 16 drivers to set the grid. That would have been interesting.
That sure would have.
Well, yeah, if they would have stayed in the straight line, it would have been interesting. But anyway, we are off under safety car conditions for the roll-up laps here for race number 1, round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League from Sonoma. As I said, Jake Maloney and Damon Mulqueen will start off the front row here for race number 1 with Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt off that second row. Darren McKenzie and Brandon Grotch will start off the third row with Andy Barber and Jai Schultz off the fourth row. All right, so they're just making their way through the mid-section of the track at the moment, and they're behind the pace car. So we're about to get excited, and I'm just settling in here, Paul. Usually I get a little bit excited. I'm just trying to relax at the moment because it's going to be some exciting racing. And we'll see how we go. Jake Maloney off the pole position. So making their way down through the change of direction downhill section of Sonoma. They'll make their way into the final corner, and it'll be in the hands of Jake Maloney out of the final corner. And we'll go green here for race number 1, round number 4. Will it be Jake Maloney getting another win here in the Skypoynt TCR League, or will Damon Mulqueen have something for him in the 42 entry? Damon Mulqueen, always showing a lot of pace, has been the bridesmaid a lot this season. We'll see whether he's got something for Jake Maloney here for race number 1 tonight. Don't write off Scotty Hasler. He's shown a lot of pace in the previous rounds as well, so he's going to be there or thereabouts. And Matty Brunt in the 134, always quick as well. Don't write off Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber and Southern Stars Esports Racing entries as well. They'll be there or thereabouts, but we're about to go green. It is in the hands of Jake Maloney, as they make their way onto the main straight. And we are green for the first time tonight, and we're already nearly 3 wide into turn number 1. Are they going to get through there nice and cleanly as you see the bumblebees, as I call them, make them way up into turn number 2? Jake Maloney's going to lead the field through turn number 2 for the first time tonight over Damon Mulqueen and Scotty Hasler. As they come through the other change of direction up over the hill, catch a lot of curb there. How good are these pictures on the InterSim Esports Network? It's definitely fight for the battles from third down as it's a big freight train down into the tricky downhill braking section in these cars. They get very light in the rear, but all the drivers being very, very patient here early on for race number 1, Paul.
It definitely looks like Nathan Cook there was just going up the inside there to try and get a move done on David Leslie, which he's pulled off. So nice little move there as everyone's just sort of settled in, and they're all taking the first lap quite nicely.
They have been. David Leslie, I'm sure we saw him out last night in our broadcast that we did last night as well. He's in the Dragon RC backed car, I think he was. And he's back out in the Dragon RC car tonight as well, as looks like Cook just went off in the background, and Darren McKenzie just braking a little bit too hard there. Darren McKenzie's up 1 spot, so he's made the move on Brendan Grotch. You can see just in the background as Jake Maloney takes lap number 2 here for race number 1. So Darren McKenzie up into the 5th spot. He's done a good job getting that job done on Brendan Grotch early on in this one. He's going to have Matthew Brunt in his sights now, but I tell you what, looking in the background, Brendan Grotch is all over the back of Darren McKenzie. But Paul, Sonoma Raceway, a lot of change of direction, a lot of change of elevation, a very different, tricky track to drive at the best of times, as Jai Schultz is just having a little bit of a look there down the inside of Andy Barber and thought better of it, and that's allowed Sam Katakuznos just to range up onto the back of Jai Schultz. So Sonoma Raceway, as I said, it's hard enough to drive generally, let alone jumping in a TCR. A lot of change of direction, a lot of elevation change, and with the way that these TCRs brake very light in the rear, very tricky car to drive around Sonoma, I'd suspect.
Well, the last time I was at Sonoma, Aiden, was in a NASCAR Cup car, and I'll tell you what, that's not fun to drive around Sonoma, so I'd probably much rather drive a TCR around Sonoma than a NASCAR.
Well, funny you say that. I think I was exactly the same, and I was probably in the same race. The last time I've driven around Sonoma was in a NASCAR Gen 6, so that was hard enough to drive, as you just mentioned. So obviously a lot more horsepower, a lot more weight, less suspension to be able to get the car turned in, as opposed to the TCR, but very tricky track. I think Open wheeler around Sonoma would be pretty fun, but I tell you what, you wouldn't want to catch any of those curves because you'd end to find yourself up in the fence very, very quickly. But this battle for second at the moment is starting to heat up here. Fourth and fifth. Sorry, Matthew Brunt and Darren McKenzie. No, sorry, that's not Matthew Brunt and Darren McKenzie. That's Scotty Hasler. So that's third and fourth. So Scotty Hasler and Matthew Brunt. Sorry, I just got confused there. Scotty Hasler and Matthew Brunt, that's heating up a little bit. That's going to still keep Darren McKenzie just a little bit enticed in the background there to think that he's going to be able to challenge for the podium here for race number one. But Jake Maloney, as he comes into the final corner here, he's extended the lead by now out to 1.6 seconds over Damon Mulqueen. Now it's pretty much a battle for second, third, fourth. You can see fifth place, Darren McKenzie just dropping back there. Brendan Grotch is just staying on the back of him. Andy Barber 2 seconds off the back of that as there's a move here in the background. Not sure if he's going to get that job done. That is Adam Ariel. He's got Peter Kelleher all over the back of him as they make their way on to the main straight for the fourth time here tonight for race number one. So Adam Ariel from Ariel Auto Art, one of the sponsors of the Skypoynt TCR League, holding on to the 10th position. He's just inside that top 10, but Peter Kelleher looking very racy, wanting to get the job done on him and move the number 023 up into the top 10 of this one, Paul. So already 4 laps into A. It is Jake Maloney at the front, absolutely blitzing, now extended the lead out to 2 seconds. But this is where the battle is at the moment on the racetrack, and that's between Darren McKenzie and Brendan Grotch. It's been a 4-lap battle so far. Darren McKenzie got the better of him on the first lap after starting out of 6th position, but Brendan is looking to fight back and get the job done on Darren McKenzie and get that position back and say, hey, Darren, I qualified in front of you. I deserve to be there on the racetrack at the moment. But Darren's saying, hey, mate, I got the job done. Now it's your job to pass me. And for me, knowing from experience, I've done a lot of laps with Darren McKenzie across lots of different leagues and servers. He's not going to make it easy. And I know you've done a lot of laps with Darren as well. So no surprise to see Darren want to move up early in this one, Paul. We know the type of racer he is, and he's not going to make this job easy for Brendan in 6th.
No, certainly not, and it looks like he might be slowly stretching that gap as well over Brendan, but Brendan's not going to let him get away too easy either. It's just holding on the back there. It's coming up the hill and then going to be coming down and through the S's in a moment.
Yeah, it looks got their strengths and weaknesses at the moment through the track. You could see, as Brendan Grotch got really close to the outside wall and exit, that could have absolutely ended in disaster there for Brandon. But they've got their strengths and weaknesses in the faster flowing sections. As you can see, Brandon just ranging up at the back on Darren there. He looks like he's a lot quicker, but in the slower sections, we see Darren McKenzie just pull away. But Brandon's going to have a good opportunity here if he can get the run to try and make a move into the final turn here at Sonoma. He's not quite close enough here. He's going to get a run down here. Is he going to poke the nose up the inside and try and get into the mirror of Darren McKenzie? He's not. He's a little bit too far back this time. So Darren McKenzie still holds on to that fifth position. But back up to the battle for second, third and fourth, Paul. Damon Mulqueen he's dropped off the back of Jake Maloney, who's extended the lead to 2.2, but he's only got about a second over Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt. So this is a good little battle for second, third and fourth. Matthew Brunt is going a little bit deep into the corner there, and that's going to give a bit of breathing space to Scott Hasler in the third position. So this has been a race-long battle as well here for race number one between Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt. There's been no change of position so far, but we'll see how that goes as the night unfolds. As we said, next race is going to be a reverse grid, and as we're seeing the lap times here in race number one, as albeit look on your screens that they are separated by quite substantial margins, it's not going to be as easy as we think to try and navigate your way from the back of the pack in race number two, Paul.
No, certainly not. It doesn't look like there's too many gains on position there. Adam Ariel up 5 spots and Peter Kelleher up 3, but everyone just really seems to be holding their positions they started in, and it's going to be an interesting one, the reverse grid race here, as you say. So it's going to be hard work, I think, for these faster cars to try and get the job done. only 9 laps to get their way back through the field. So if they're struggling to build that gap now on an 8 lap race, then that one extra lap is probably not going to help them too much either.
No, it definitely won't. And that grid will, how that race ends will be how the grid starts for the feature race, the 25-lap feature race as well. So that's going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Two notable ones, though, Paul, as we're 2 laps to go. We'll go to the leader shortly. They're taking a lot of curb there. That is nuts. But Robbie Bradbury and Troy Mortensen down. Well, Troy Mortensen's 2 laps down. He's had an incident. But Robbie Bradbury, he's back into 13th at the moment after starting in the 10th position. So Robbie Bradbury not with the best start here for race number 1. It's going to help him for race number 2 and put him right up into the pointy end as the car in front of him at the moment. That's David Leslie, the Dragon RC back, David Leslie. He's going to want to fight this. I'm not sure if I was Robbie Bradbury how much I'd want to fight David Leslie at the moment as he tries to get the switch back here, because it's going to put him off pretty much the front row. At the moment, it looks like that's going to be Nathan Cook and Corey Brand off the front row. So we'll see how we go. But we're now lap 8. We've taken the final lap here. The white flag. Barney's waved the white flag for the final lap. Race number 1, round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League here from Sonoma. And it's no surprise, Jake Maloney, 3 seconds the better of Damon Mulqueen. Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt still having a nice little battle there for 3rd and 4th place. Darren McKenzie still holding on to that 5th place over Brendan Grotch. Andy Barber makes his way through. Sam Katakuzinos right over the back of him as well. So good little battles here on the last lap as they make their way up through turns 3 and 4 here around Sonoma. In the background, you could see Jai Schultz just off in the distance as well. But Jake Maloney, it's all his for race number 1 at the moment. He's got a 3.3 second gap on Damon Mulqueen. The battle for 3rd's heating up in the background. We'll keep on board with Jake Maloney, though. He deserves it. He's going to come down into the final section of Sonoma Raceway through the right-hand corner. He's got one more braking zone to navigate, and if he gets this right, he's going to take home race number 1, round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League. So he makes his way in through the apex, gets the car rotated, and out of the final turn. Around the corner he comes, and Jake Maloney, the number 29, is going to take home race number 1 here for the Skypoynt TCR League from Sonoma. Damon Mulqueen's going to come home in 2nd spot across the line. Who's going to win the battle for 3rd and 4th? Scott Hasler's going to get that job done as well. I could see that in the background. The camera's not moving. I think Paul's a bit tied up. Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt. Darren McKenzie holds on to the 5th position over Brendan Grotch. Andy Barber holds on to 7th over Sam Katakuzinos. Jai Schultz home in 9th. Peter Kelleher coming out of the final corner here. He looks like he's got the job done. No, Adam Ariel looks like he's got the job done on Peter Kelleher on the final corner. So Adam Ariel's going to come home. No, Peter Kelleher comes home in 10th. Adam Ariel holds on from David Leslie in 12th. Robbie Bradbury in 13th. And that is your finishing order for race number 1. So we're going to go straight into the reverse grid here for race number 2, round number 4. And it's going to be Nathan Cook and Corey Brand off the front row. Troy Mortensen and Robbie Bradbury will be out of the 2nd row. David Leslie, Adam Ariel, the 3rd row. Peter Kelleher, Jai Schultz off the 4th row, with Sam Katakuzinos and Andy Barber, off the 5th row. Off the 6th row for race number 2 will be David Leslie and Adam Ariel. 7th row, Peter Kelleher and Jai Schultz. 8th row, Sam Katakuzinos. Sorry, I've got that all wrong again. It's completely stuffed up on me. So now we'll go from Andy Barber, Brandon Grotch, Darren McKenzie, Matthew Brunt, Scotty Hasler, Damon Mulqueen, Jake Maloney. And that will be your 16-car starting grid here. So we've got the reverse grid, Paul. We've seen the reverse grids have brought a lot of action in previous rounds. Looking forward to see whether the likes of Jake Maloney, Damon Mulqueen and Scotty Hasler, how they're going to navigate their way through the field here. Only one extra lap to do so. So interesting to see how they're going to be able to do that one and try and keep it clean.
Well, the benefit those faster guys do have tonight is because the track's so flowy and it's quite a wide track, then they're not limited to tight corners, tight track, and they've got plenty of room there they can make their moves. So you might see them, pick off a few cars, maybe through the S's, range right up on them, and then utilise those straights to make their moves, down the back straight and on the after the hairpin down the the front straight there as well, possibly.
Yeah, 100%. The trick for Nathan Cook and Corey Brand, who didn't have the best of race number 1, their trick for race number 2, starting off the front, is going to be not battle each other too hard and not try and race in the mirror. Try and set the most constant laps you can, and make it harder for the likes of the guys coming through the back to chase you. So they've got to navigate their way through the field, and if and that's a big if, they're able to navigate their way through the field, then they've got to try and chase you down at the front. So we'll see how that goes with Nathan Cook, Corey Brand, Robbie Bradbury, Troy Mortensen, David Leslie, Adam Ariel, Peter Kelleher, Sam Katakuzanos, Jai Schultz and Andy Barber, 10 here for the reverse grid race at Sonoma. So they make their way up to the final section here, the change of direction at Sonoma. Of course, a big shout out to Brush Seals Express for jumping on and supporting the series. DSL Welding Services as well in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And of course, Adam Ariel from Ariel Auto Art. If you need any paints done, jump across to him and he'll be sure to help you out. But we're about to go green as they make their way into the final hairpin here at hairpin. I just made up a word, Paul. Hairpin, that's a new word. But we're about to go green, and it's going to be Corey Brand and Nathan Cook bringing us to the green this time around. Keep one eye on Robbie Bradbury out of P4, of course, Troy Mortensen as well. Safety car is in. That is of Sebi Vandel in behind that one, but we're green, and looks like Nathan Cook has got a good jump on the outside there. And they're going to make their way down through turns number 1 and 2 for the first time here for race number. Oh, there's a big send in the background. Someone's in the wall. Adam Ariel's in the wall, and in the wall hard as there's checkups everywhere. Jake Maloney's got a little bit of contact there in the background as well. So I tell you what, that's a bit of a different start for race number 2 as we'll go back to the replay and just have a little bit of a look at what happened to the 24 Ariel Auto Art entry of Adam Ariel. So off the start, they make their way into turn number 1. You can see Adam there. He started off the 4th row. They try and go 3 wide. 3 wide into turn number 1. That doesn't go well. He's got collected on the right-hand rear there by the car on the outside. And that's all the drivers just trying to squeeze 3 cars into where only one will fit. And Adam Ariel was the one to be spat out in that one. But he hasn't hit the wall as there's a big uphill grass section there. So good for Adam there. He's going to be back on track and be able to navigate around. So Paul, race number 2, as Nathan Cook now has got a 1.6 second lead already here for race number 2 after lap number 1, just about to be lap number 1. As there's a pass now, Jai Schultz moving up into the 2nd place over Troy Mortensen. Andy Barber's following him through as well. But all pretty nice and calm except for turn number 1 there. But that was another example of 3 cars trying to go in to where 1 car fits for.
Yeah, definitely. And in those first couple of corners here as we're coming through turn 1 and 2, probably not the best of ideas. Oh. There is, I think that's Corey Brand there. It's just, nope, that would have been Bradbury. Yep.
Robbie Bradbury. So Robbie Bradbury, after starting up the front here, that was an unfortunate excursion there, a little bit of a lawn mowing incident there for Robbie Bradbury. But he's no harm, no foul again. He's still back onto the racetrack and navigating around. Jai Schultz, though, he's narrowing this gap at the front to Nathan Cook. He's dragging Andy Barber along with him and David Leslie in the Dragon RC back car as well. So the Tiona Holiday Park Southern Stars Esports Racing entry of Andy Barber currently in 3rd place. Troy Mortensen sitting there in 5th. He has, Darren McKenzie's gone around. So your 5th place getter for race number 1, he's hit escape. He goes, I don't want to be a part of this. So he didn't even want to get back on the track. So we'll go back to an instant replay and see what happened to Darren McKenzie. He's not happy at all. Something. We just had a bit of a technical glitch here. We'll go back to that instant replay again. So Darren McKenzie, he's just on the outside there. Not sure who that's in front of him. They make a bit of contact. Peter Kelleher there, and then Darren's just getting all out of shape. He's going to make his way through here. We'll slow it down. And he's going to get tagged in the rear here by the preceding car, I'd suggest. No, it looks like I have a funny feeling Darren McKenzie's had a bit of an equipment issue there. That's why he's escaped. So Darren McKenzie was having an issue with his force feedback, I heard, coming into this round, and it looks like that just got the better of him in race number 2. So hopefully he can get that one fixed and get back out there for the feature race tonight. But here's the battle for the lead. Jai Schultz is closing that margin. We're lap 3 of 9, and he's got that gap down to 0.4 of a second to Nathan Cook, and Andy Barber just in the background there. So Jai Schultz from Blue Collar Autosport, the owner of the league and the runner of the league, currently in the 2nd position. Will he be able to get the job done on Nathan Cook? What I can see early in this run, Paul, only 3 laps into 9, his lap pace is a lot quicker, and Nathan Cook starting to drive in his mirror as last lap Jai took 2 seconds out of him. So Nathan Cook starting to drive in his mirror, and that's allowing Jai Schultz to range up onto the back of him, and possibly in this next lap or the lap after, be able to make a move for the lead of the motor race.
Yeah, definitely, and good to see a few Hondas up the front there, as they're managing to hold that front running there through that reverse grid start. So Jai Schultz there getting the job done now on Nathan Cook.
Yeah, he got that job done. Nathan looks like he made a bit of an error there into turn number 2. You can see Scotty Hasler. He's been the best of the field. He come home in P3 in race number 1. He's made his way up through the field quicker than anyone. And he's going to make a dive on Andy Barber down into the corner here, and he's going to get the job done for 3rd place. So Scott Hasler, after starting 3rd last here in the reverse grid, he's made the best of the start, and he's made his way up through the field. And now he's got Nathan Cook in his sights, trying to chase down a win. We'll see where Jake Maloney is. He's currently back in the 7th spot, so he's behind David Leslie. So Jake Maloney has found it a little bit harder here for race number 2, what we've seen in the previous rounds, and he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to keep his winning streak up intact here for the TCR or Skypoynt TCR League. But he's going to get the job done on Leslie there into the hairpin onto the main straight this time around. And the next, Matthew Brunt just has a little bit of a side lick there with David Leslie. But Jake Maloney's now going to have Sam Katakuznos to chase down as well. So Matthew Brunt hasn't made his way through the field as quick as we thought he would have as well, after finishing in 3rd position, I believe, for race number 1. Sam Katakuznos on your screens at the moment. Team Bushfrink Racing started out of P number 11 here for the reverse grid. He's up inside the top 5, so a good job by Sam Katakuznos. He's got a 2nd down the road to Andy Barber, but he's going to have to keep one eye in the mirror to Jake Maloney, because he's going to be coming, and he's going to be coming fast, and you can see that there as they make their way out of that corner. But have a look at this little battle. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th on the track as you see it, ladies and gentlemen. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So there's no runaways in this one in the reverse grid. We're lap 5 of 9, only 4 to go next time across the strike pool. So as we sort of thought before we come into this reverse grid, we weren't going to see any runaways, and this is exactly how it's playing out. Lap 5 of 9 here for race number 2.
Yeah, definitely. So big send up the inside there.
How did he get that one stopped? I thought Andy Barber was going to be drilled, but Jake Maloney got that car stopped. Sam Katakuznos with good at spatial awareness there, just opened the steering wheel and allowed Jake Maloney to go up the inside. Will Jake Maloney get the job done around the outside into turns number 1 and 2 here? We're about to find out. Jake's going to be on the right side of the road here for the change direction. Looks like Sam Katakuznos is going to have to yield that one, and he does. Andy Barber got a bit of tyre lock up there just in front of the battle as well, but he's still holding on in 4th position. So Jake Maloney coming very, very fast on Andy Barber. He'll make a move down into this downhill braking section, I'd suggest. He'll sit just behind him through here. So this is where we'll see Jake Maloney make a move. He gets a good run out of that corner, and he's going to make the move for 4th spot here on Andy Barber, and he gets the job done. Sam Katakuznos tries to follow him through. Will Sam be able to clear him out of the corner? It doesn't look like he can, and Andy Barber holds on to that one. So Jake Maloney now up into the 4th spot. I tell you what, Scotty Hasler's going to want to get the job done on Jai Schultz at the front really quickly, because Jake Maloney is coming, and he is coming fast after being back early in this race. So Scott Hasler up in behind Jai Schultz. Jai covering off down into the hairpin this time around. Scott Hasler's going, I'm going around the outside. Is he going to be able to do the switchback? No, he's outbroke himself there. So Jai Schultz, good, nice defensive driving there, and he holds on to the lead as he comes across the line. There'll be 3 laps to go. I tell you what, is Jai going to be able to hold on to it, Paul? There's a lot of people snapping at his heels behind. Nathan Cook's going to be one of them after starting off third position. He's had a good race here for race number 2, but Jake Maloney is going to be coming through thick and fast. So Jai Schultz, 3 laps to hold on. Has he got enough to be able to start off pole for race number 3 tonight?
We have seen Jai manage to take a win from a reverse grid race and possibly a podium, I think, as well. So as those laps are counting down, he's still got a little bit of a lead there, almost 2-second lead there to Jake Maloney. So if he can hold off Scotty Hassler, then he might be looking good for a win. Otherwise, he'd probably hold on to a podium spot at the very least.
Yeah, well, he's got Scotty Hassler all over the back of him. There's a good little battle in the background, but let's just keep on this one at the moment. This is for the lead of the motor race. You'll see Jai Schultz coming down into the final hairpin here. He's going to cover off his position again, I'd strongly suggest, and he's just positioning his car sort of mid-track. Jake Maloney with a big send for second position. Hasn't got the job done there, so Jai Schultz still holding on. So this little 3-car battle is going to go all the way down to the wire for the next 2 laps, as they go 2 to go here across the line. But Jake Maloney, he's showing his intentions there, and he's really strong into the braking section there, into the hairpin. Scotty Hassler's trying to get the job done. He can't. Schultz is holding it on the outside line, gets a good run. So Jai Schultz still holding on to the lead at the moment. He's got to, let's hope he's not mirror driving. He's just got to look forward and make sure that he gets the 27 as square as possible as they go off into the grass. That's allowed Jake Maloney to have a little bit of a look, but they've just kept into the power and it's still play on at the front. So Jai Schultz, Scott Hassler and Jake Maloney, as we've got a lap and a half to go, we'll see who's going to get the better of this one. I'll tell you what, it could be anyone, so I reckon Jake Maloney's going to have something to say about this though, with a lap and a half to go. But have a look at this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. This is Sam Katakouzanos, Andy Barber and Matthew Brunt. So this is a good little battle. It's been happening all race long. Damon Mulqueen in behind there as well. So Andy Barber's going to be a little bit too far behind to make a move here, but he's going to have to cover off on Matthew Brunt in behind him down into this hard braking section. But here is a move. We've got a challenge for the lead. Jai Schultz still holding on to that one. And you've got Jake Maloney, he's trying to go up the inside. He's now going to be on the outside. He's on the outside of Scott Hassler down the main straight. And we go white flag here for race number 2, the reverse grid. And it's a battle of the 3. Jai Schultz, Scott Hassler and Jake Maloney. There's contact and Jai Schultz is around. Jai Schultz is around. Could have been net code, but Scott Hassler will definitely have something to answer for here from race control at the end of this race. Jai Schultz just absolutely punted out of the lead of the motor race. This has allowed Nathan Cook to take 3rd, Sam Katakouzanos 4th, and Andy Barber 5th. So Jai Schultz will be absolutely dirty about this one. But the lead of the motor race, here it is. Jake Maloney, he's going trying to get the job done on Scott Hassler. Looks like he's got that job done. No, he hasn't. Scott has held off. So here's the big lunge. It's going to come from Jake Maloney. He's going to follow line of stern here through the change of direction section at Sonoma. He's going to definitely have a lunge into the final corner. We saw how good he is under brakes here into the hairpin. Scotty's going to cover it off on the inside, I'd suspect, and he's going to do that. But you watch how late Jake Maloney will go under brakes here to try and be on the right side of the road. He squeezes him into the apex. Scotty Hassler says, I'm not having that, Jake Maloney, and he's going to come off the final turn, and he's going to hold on. And Scott Hassler's going to take home the win here for race number 2, and he's going to start off the pole for the feature race, and Jake Maloney in P number 2. So Jake Maloney, he's been topped from the top of the standings, and he is the bridesmaid for the reverse grid. What a drive by Scotty Hassler to hold on for the win. Jake Maloney in 2nd and Nathan Cook in 3rd. We'll go back to the replay on Jai Schultz, see what happened to Jai on the last lap as he was leading the motor race. So they'll make their way down in through turn number 1 and 2 here, up into the change of direction into 3. Scotty Hassler tries to make the move on the inside, just puts his nose there, and it's definitely net code. So nowhere near the back of Jai Schultz there, and that just sends the 27 of Jai Schultz into a half spin. He did good to catch it and keep it off the wall, and he ended up coming home in P8. So not sure what penalties are going to happen here for race number 3, but unfortunate there for Jai Schultz. So we'll see how we go. So at the moment, I think they're going to have a bit of a warm-up before we get into race number 3. We'll see what happens when they change over sections, change over to the next race. If we do have a warm-up, then we might just let you have a watch so we can just go and catch our breath before we bring you 25 laps here around Sonoma. So we've got a 10-minute warm-up session. We'll just leave you on here, ladies and gentlemen, and have a look at the 10-minute warm-up session as the drivers cruise around. We'll just go back and grab our breath for 5 minutes, and we'll be back here very shortly on the InterSim Esports Network to bring you all the action of the final race here for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League from Sonoma Raceway.
Alrighty, so we are back for the moment, and coming into tonight's race with round 4 at Sonoma, and leading the way in the championship currently, we got Jake Maloney leading the pro class division, And Jake Maloney's currently sitting on 306 points there, with Matthew Brunt in the second position there, in 234 points there for Matthew Brunt, and Damon Melqueen with 210 points there. And leading the way in the AM class division currently, we've got Brandon Grotch, who's sitting actually fourth overall in the championship as well on 203 points. Then you've got Andy Barber from Southern Stars in 179 points, and Mark Howard, who I don't think is actually on the grid tonight, was currently sitting on 141 points there. So there's your top three in your Pro and AM classes currently, as we're still under warm-up. I've got another 4 and a bit minutes to go for warm-up, as there's no drivers actually utilising this time for warm-up at the moment, so no testing happening out on the track there for anyone. But, we will be back racing in just under 4 minutes now, so stay with us and put your comments in the chat there, who you think's going to take out the feature race tonight. So we've got Adam Ariel now coming out late in the warm-up to just get a couple of laps in under his belt. He's just under the 3-minute mark now left of warm-up there. And surprised no one's actually hit that tyre wall there yet tonight. The driver's leaving that really late there to swerve back from that wall there.
And I'm back, Paul. I do apologise about that, mate. Thank you for covering me off there, so thank you for that. But I am back. Hopefully I didn't miss anything here in the warm-up session.
No, not too much. We just went through the championship standings currently, and yeah, that's about it. No one was taking the time to use the warm-up. Adam's only just come out for a lap there, and that's it really. We haven't had too much other action here yet.
That's all right. We've only got a couple of minutes to go before we bring you the final race here for round number 4. So from what we've seen earlier tonight, it's going to be a good race, but I reckon everyone's going to have a job ahead of them to try and hold off Mr. I've been talking about him for the last 4 rounds. Mr. Jake Maloney there. He's going to have a lot of pace here for the final race.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're away, I had a bit of a idea, Aiden, for what we can do for the start of this race. Something a little bit different, something we probably don't see on any other broadcasters network there. And start of this race, we're going to just jump straight on board with someone in the mid-pack and see what it's like to start the race from on board.
Why don't we do something different? Yeah, that's a really good idea. Instead of us talking, let's jump on board and just let you navigate your way around the first 1 or 2 laps here at Sonoma from the perspective of a driver. So, Paul, what do you think, mate? Who's your driver? You come up with the idea, so who's the man that we're going to go on board with for the first couple of laps here at Sonoma?
Well, we'll get the starting grid up for the feature race, and then we'll come back to you on that one, Aiden.
All right, so we'll see who's buried right in the middle of the rubbish, as we'd like to say in motorsport terms. So we will see. But Adam Ariel's still out there trying to do a couple of laps here in the warm-up sessions. Only 20 minutes left to go, so bear with us. and we'll be bringing you race number 3.
20 minutes?
So,
that's a long warm-up left to go, Aiden.
oh, sorry. 20 seconds of 10 minutes. My apologies. My spaghetti carbonara must be going to my head, because that's what I had for dinner tonight. Oh, big send into the wall there by that's Troy Mortensen there by the looks of that. So big send there by Troy.
Gotta love the purple wheels that Troy's running, and I also like my purple wheels as I ran in the Daytona 500, just for Mark Joe especially.
Yeah, and we'll won't mention the fact that you cheated to beat me, but we'll just move across that. But anyway, here's the grid here for race number 3. Scotty Hasler and Jake Maloney off the front row, with Nathan Cook, Sam Katakuzanos off the second row, Matthew Brunt and Andy Barber off the third row, Damon Mulqueen and Josh Schultz off the fourth row, Brendan Grotch and Troy Mortensen off the fifth row, Robbie Bradbury and David Lasley off the sixth row, with Peter Kelleher and Brand off the seventh row, Adam Ariel and Darren McKenzie off the eighth row, and Sebi Varndell and Race Control will not be taking part in this one, obviously. So your 16 starter grid. So I don't know, if we're going middle of the track, it's either going to middle of the field, it's either going to be Jai Schultz or Brendan Grotch here at the moment, Paul. So we'll have to decide that one. That's all on you.
Well, I was actually thinking exactly in that spot there. So, seeing we might go on board with Jai Schultz, since he was leading that race and had an unfortunate neck code incident there. So, was showing a lot of pace in race 2, and I think we might just jump on board, see what he's got for the front runners off the start of the race.
Well, we know that Schultzy likes to watch the broadcast as he races, so this is going to put the pressure definitely on him. So we'll go on board. We'll go on board with him now inside the cockpit of the 27 of Jai Schultz, starting out of 8th position. We're going to do something different on the broadcast here. We'll do the first couple of laps around Sonoma. We will not say a word. We'll let you hear race control. We'll let you listen to the engines, and we'll let you see what it's like here on board a TCR inside the cockpit of the 27 of Jai Schultz for the feature race here for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League. So I've had to jump back in here, ladies and gentlemen. This is on board with Jai Schultz. A little bit of a different perspective here for race number 3. Just off the start, he's buried down the pack in 8th position. This is what it's like on board with the 27 of Jai Schultz, Blue Collar Autosport. This is what the guys deal with here from the cockpit off the start. So I'll just be quiet and let you enjoy what it's like on board with the 27 of Jai Schultz at the start of the feature race here for round number 4, race number 3 of the Skypoynt TCR League. That's a lap around, but we need to cut that short. But have a look at this battle. Sammy K, he's trying to make the move on Scotty Hasler for second position. Tell you what, Andy Barber with a good start as well. He's up in the 4th position here early on. So it's elbows out here for race number 3 for the 25-lap feature race, Paul. But there you go, we're on board with Jai Schultz. Not the best start, dropped 1 position, but he's probably just sitting there just trying to safely navigate his way around and put himself in a position here in the feature race. There will be a pit stop here for the 25-lap race, so anything can happen, but it's on at the front at the moment. Jake Maloney's got the better over Scott Hasler. Scott's just fought off Sam Katakuznos for the 3rd position. We see Matty Brunt getting a big sideways action out of the corner there. But, yeah, Sam Katakuznos just locking a break there as well. So good driving by everyone so far. They're all settling in, but I say settling in this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. They're just a big snake making their way through the change of direction at Sonoma here for the feature race. So Sam Katakuznos, he's got his head around the car in the first 2 races, and this longer race, he looked racy early. He couldn't quite get the job done on Scott Hasler for the lead, but he's had a good start to this one after starting out of P number 4, as Andy Barber's having a move made on him by Matthew Brunt into the final corner, and Andy being a gentleman there, just opening up the steering wheel, and he's going to sacrifice that position, and Matthew Brunt now goes up into the 4th position here as we've gone 3 laps into 25, Paul.
Yeah, definitely a nice clean start for everyone, and yeah, a few gains there in the top 5, and in positions, everyone up 1 position, bar Scotty Hasler, who started on the front row there.
And Nathan Cook, the man you can see just in behind Andy Barber, he's the big loser here off the start. He started out of P number 3, and he's now down into P6, so he's the big loser here at the start of race number 3 tonight. So Nathan Cook, he's got a lot of work to do. Oh, as Damon Mulqueen just shows his nose on the inside. I'm sure that Scott would have had one little look in his mirror there and go, please don't hit me, but they all get through there nice and fairly. But Nathan Cook, a lot of work to do here for race number 3 after starting out of 3rd place here for the feature race. So we'll see whether he's got anything, as Andy Barber just goes a little bit wide there on the exit. Andy Barber, Southern Stars Esports Racing, doing a great job at the moment in 5th spot. It's going to give him a lot of championship points tonight if he finishes in that position. Nice solid run in the first couple of races here tonight. So Andy Barber will take home a nice bag of points. There's a big incident, and that involves Nathan Cook. Nathan Cook, who we just spoke about, he was in the 6th position, and there's a big incident. We'll go back to the incident replay and see what happened to Nathan Cook. So he's got, Nathan's got really sideways there through the change of direction. There's going to be cars in the background. He's on the dirt, and he's collected. Is he going to collect anyone else? Yes, he does. Damon Mulqueen, he holds on to that one. Damon's going to have a big tank slap up, or Damon's in behind, and then, that's a big lick into the wall, and that is night done for Nathan Cook. The night that promised so much. 3rd in the 2nd race, was quick in the 1st race, and that is night done for Nathan Cook here in the feature race early on. So he's not going to be happy with that one. He's still going.
It didn't look like there was much damage. He just sort of, that wall, that pit entry there, looked like it just really cushioned the car, and he bounced off it. There's no tyres hanging off, no bumpers hanging off, and looks like Nathan Cook's good to go on that one.
I tell you what, that's iRacing at its finest right there. Because if that was in real life, I'd be seeing an ambulance. But he's doing good. He's back out there. He's back navigating back in 14th position, but back up to the lead. No surprise here. Jake Maloney, 2.3 seconds now down the road as he's just about to take the 5th lap of asking. Scotty Hasler will come across in 2nd. Sam Katakuznos still holding on the 3rd, but Matthew Brunt slowly ranging up on the back of him now. So Matthew Brunt's going to try and make a move, I'd suggest, on Sam Katakuznos in the coming laps. And this is the top 3, like Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt, top 3 for the first race. So no surprise to see these guys making their way up to the pointy end. But I'm really, really happy with Sam Katakuznos. He jumped in late to the session. He's got his head around the car, and he's doing a really good job here for race number 3, but Matty Brunt is making him get his money's worth tonight as he's all over the back of him. He's going to try and make a move down the inside here on Sam Katakuznos, and he gets the job done. So that's a move for P3. Matthew Brunt gets that job done on Sam Katakuznos, and now he's got Scotty Hasler up the road that he's going to try and chase down.
Yeah, definitely, and it's further 2.7 seconds up the road, but that gap looks like it's dropping a little bit. So Matthew Brunt definitely showing a lot of pace for race number 3 here, Aiden.
Yeah, he is. He's always quick in these cars. Like I said, a little bit of depleted field, which is really surprising. Round 3 and 4 have not been the biggest fields here for the Skypoynt TCR League, but that's all right. It's still good racing, and Matty Brunt has always shown a clean set of heels and been really quick. So we'll check last time around. So 117.9 for Jake Maloney, your leader. 118.5 for Scotty Hasler. 118.9 for Matthew Brunt, but Matthew Brunt had to get the job done and make the move on Sam Katakuznos. So this next lap around will be an indication on what Matthew Brunt's speed is, as opposed to Scott Hasler up in front of him. So Matthew Brunt, Synergy Sim Racing, JK Signs entry up there in the 3rd place at the moment. We'll see whether he's got anything to try and battle for 2nd place. It's Jake Maloney's to lose at the moment, albeit only 6 laps into 25, but he's shown a clean set of heels as we are on board now with Andy Barber. He commented on the stream saying, "I'm slow as a wet week in these things, hashtag Clapton slow," but he's not too slow at the moment, sitting in the 5th position. But that's David Mulqueen and Brendan Grotch right in behind him. So Andy Barber has got a mirror full of TCR cars at the moment, trying to hold on to that 5th position in the motor race ball.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, Andy seems to hold his own in the TCRs. He does a good job, especially off those reverse grid races. Had some nice results there as well, and that sort of sets him up for the race number 3, the feature race, and manages still to usually have a close to a top 5 position there come the end of the feature race. So doesn't do too bad. I wouldn't say he's slow as a wet willy there.
Well, let's go on with Brandon Grotch just in behind this battle, and let's have a look at this battle for a lap or two and see what this battle for 5th looks like on board with Brendan Grotch. So we'll go on board with the 22 of Brendan Grotch and let you look at this battle from behind in the next couple of laps. And what timing is that?
Yeah.
What timing is that, Paul? We go on board and then he decides, well, I'm getting stuck behind here. I'm going to do the undercut and go into the pit stop. So this is obviously going to be a 2-stopper, and Brendan Grotch is the first one to blink into pit lane. Corey Brand is in pit lane as well, but he's laps down. So Brendan Grotch going for the undercut here. So good timing to go on the onboard there, but it still is Jake Maloney leading the way. He's now got 4.7 seconds over Scott Hasler, who holds down the 2nd place in this race number 3 feature race. You can see Scott Hasler just in the background there, or he's there on your screen now, making his way through that turn here at Sonoma. So he's in 2nd place, Matthew Brunt in 3rd. This is a nice little battle. David Leslie and Robbie Bradbury having a little bit of a ding-dong battle here for the minors, 8th and 9th at the moment. Oh, are they going to make contact? No, little bit of a slight break there by David Leslie. He keeps the spot on Robbie Bradbury though, and now Robbie Bradbury's not happy. He's given David Leslie a few flashes there and says, "Get out of my way." Robbie Bradbury couldn't get the job done on David Leslie there, but good job for David Leslie there to hold on that from Robbie Bradbury, because that could have ended up very bad. But good job for them, and good clean racing and status quo, and they keep going here. So. We'll see how we go.
Maybe Robbie Bradbury could just take some KFC out the window for David Leslie, as he's probably got a chicken drumstick in his mouth while he's driving around, one hand on the wheel and one hand on the drumstick. So might be able to just offer some KFC there to David Leslie and say, you let me buy and you can have some wicked wings.
Well, hopefully it's one hand on the drumstick and not something else, but It's a good-looking livery, and I don't care because I love it. See the pun there? I don't care. I love it. But Jai Schultz into the pit lane as well. So Jai Schultz has come in pit lane, but Brendan Grotch is still stationary in pit lane, Paul. He's still showing on my live timing as in pit lane. So that's interesting on why he is still in pit lane. So that undercut that we thought he was going to do is now completely out the window. So it's showing Sebi Vandel's out of pit lane. I don't know why, because he drives the pace car and we're not under yellow. So it might just be live timing at the moment, having a little bit of a heart attack, but mine's saying different, so that's interesting. But Damon Mulqueen now, he's up in behind Sam Katakuzanos. This is a battle for 4th and 5th place. Keep an eye out for Jai Schultz, who come in pit lane on lap 8. He's going to have a big undercut here, but he's going to have to do that twice. So we'll see where that puts him. He's put him only a second behind Adam Ariel. So Damon Mulqueen here in the 5th spot. Sam Katakuzanos doing a great job. He's found the pace. His last time around 1:19.59. Although Damon Mulqueen 1:18.79. So Damon Mulqueen a lot quicker on lap pace here, about 1/3 into the motor race. So don't know why he's still looking like the race, the pace car is out of pit lane, but it's not. So it's still game on as Sam Katakuzanos leads, well, doesn't lead the way, holds on the 4th position over Damon Mulqueen. But Damon will probably get the job done here on Sam Katakuzanos in the next lap or two, because he's a lot quicker on track. But we know it's all good, fair, being quick enough to be able to catch the car in front, but it's a totally different story being able to make the move. So we'll see whether he can get the job done on Sam Katakuzanos here. He's a little bit too far behind into this hairpin braking section here at Sonoma this time around, so he's not going to be able to make a move there. Sam knows he's a little bit too far back, so doesn't cover off on that position, and they make their way onto the main straight once again, and they'll take lap 11 coming across the start-finish line this time around. So we're already a lap 11 of 25, nearly halfway through this feature race. We've still got Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler, Matthew Brunt, Sam Katakuzanos, Damon Mulqueen, Andy Barbie is 6. It's not going to be a 2-stop race for these front drivers. It looks like they're going to put it in half here. So if they can make lap 12 or 13, they're going to split this race in half. Jai Schultz has decided to go the double pit stop strategy. So we'll see how that works for Jai Schultz, whether he's going to be able to, he'll be a lot quicker late in the race with the tyres, but we'll see whether track position is going to play a key here for Jai Schultz. Not sure whether that is the strategy, but Damon Mulqueen still in behind Sam Katakuzanos here for the battle for the 4th and the 5th position. Will we be talking to Sam Katakuzanos here in the broadcast booth? He's been no stranger to the broadcast booth this week. He come off a 3rd place in the Global iRacing League's IndyCar Series on Monday night. He won the round previous at Indianapolis Road Course. He's been up in the broadcast booth in different broadcasts here for his last couple of outings. So will we see Sam Katakuzanos come have a chat in the broadcast booth again here when everything is said done for the final race here for the Skypoint TCR League? It's still a long way to go to see if that happens, and I'm sure Damon Mulqueen is going to have something to say about that, but it still is Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler and Matthew Brunt, your 3, and they've got quite a big margin over this battle for 3rd and 4th at the moment. But still pit stops to go for the drivers we're on board with now. A lot of mistakes can happen. Overshoot their pit stop, select tyres, don't select tyres, select wrong strategies. A long way to go. Only another 20-25 minutes of racing, and we're going to crown the winner here of round number 4 of the Skypoint TCR League from Sonoma. As look at the big bunny hops they do over that curb there by Sam Katakuzanos and Damon Mulqueen. Definitely using all the track on exit to try and keep the momentum up in the TCR. But Paul, in saying that, these TCRs, low horsepower, front wheel drive, it's very important to keep your momentum up, to keep your lap speed going.
Yeah, definitely, and you certainly don't want to overdrive the car either to chew off those front tyres and then not have the handling either as well, as you won't have that turn in quite right as you wear off the front tyres. So then you probably have to sacrifice a bit more time in pit lane as well and do a tyre change on the fronts there.
Yeah, 100%. Some people might take tyres, some people won't. I'd suggest Jai Schultz did, because And now we've got Damon Mulqueen, Andy Barber and David Leslie coming into pit lane. So they've done the half-half strategy. They've divided it into two sections of the race as Peter Kelleher now comes into pit lane as well, and Troy Mortenson's followed him into pit lane as well. So Troy Mortenson having a good start to this race inside the top 10 as Adam Ariel stays out for yet another lap. So he'll come across showing in 5th position here on the timing as everyone else is in pit lane, but he's going to drop back when he comes into pit lane shortly. He's been good on his fuel conservation here, Paul, though, because he's still going around, and it's the same as Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler, Matthew Brunt and Sam Katakuznos. So as we're on board with Jai Schultz, he's now moved up into the 7th position. He's already been down pit lane as he grabs a lot of dirt there on the exit. But Jake Maloney and Scott Hasler and even Matthew Brunt to an extent, they're running really quick lap times at the front, and they're still getting the laps out of the fuel. But in saying that, Matthew Brunt's just come into pit lane out of 3rd place. So Matthew Brunt into pit lane. He's the first of the top 3 to blink. He's a little bit too far behind to get an undercut on the top 2, I'd suggest, but we'll find out in the coming laps when we see the leaders of Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler come into pit lane. This will allow Adam Ariel to jump up into 4th place as well. So that'll be the highest that we see Adam in the race. This is Andy Barber we're on board with at the moment. He's currently in 6th place. Jai Schultz is just in behind him. Andy Barber's already come through pit lane. So Andy Barber through pit lane on lap 12. He's good to go to the end. Jai Schultz is not good to go to the end, I'd suggest, in behind Andy Barber. So not sure that this strategy from Jai Schultz is going to play out that well for him at all. Unless he can get to the end, it looks like he might be able to, because we're now 14 of 25 and the leaders haven't pitted. So Jai's good to go to the end. Andy Barber's just got the undercut though on Matthew Brunt. So Brunt's still in pit lane. So this is an interesting one as well. We saw that with Brendan Grotch, and now Brunt's in pit lane as well. So not sure what's happening here with the drivers, why they're not coming out, some of them. So unless they're serving penalties for pitting, for speeding or something, but that's really, really weird, Paul. I haven't seen that, as Sam Katakuznos currently holding down the 3rd position. He hasn't been through pit lane either yet. So not sure what's happening with those guys. We've seen that happen to both Brendan Grotch and Matthew Brunt, and they're still stationary in pit lane. Brendan Grotch has been stationary for 7 minutes. So not sure what's happened there, and we're now about to tick over a minute and a half for Matthew Brunt as they go a lap down. As Jake Maloney on your screen, he's now 18 seconds up the road of 2nd place Sam Katakuznos, and Adam Ariel is in the 4th place at the moment. They are the only 3 drivers not the pitters. Scotty Hasler just decided to serve his pit stop lap 14, and he's going to come out in the 3rd position ahead of Adam Ariel. So interesting here. Jake Maloney is a class above. He's a long way down the road, and he's doing a great job tonight. Sam Katakuznos doing a great job in 2nd as well. And they're the only 2 drivers in contention to get a podium here tonight, yet to pit. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where this puts Scott Hasler as Jake Maloney decides to go another lap. He's running this out as long as he can. He's got the lead, and he keeps extending that lead. It's stagnating at about that 17, 18 seconds now, as Andy Barber is in behind Adam Ariel. Adam Ariel still to serve his compulsory pit stop here for race number 3. Andy Barber's got Jai Schultz in behind him. That's a race for position 2, ladies and gentlemen. So Jai Schultz and Andy Barber racing for position on track. Adam Ariel's going to have an absolute mirrorful of Skypoynt, Tiona Holidays Park, Southern Stars Esports Racing. Andy Barber this time into the braking zone, down into the hairpin here for the 16th time of 25. So will Andy Barber make the move? Jai Schultz looking up the inside, and we're nearly going 3 wide. Is Jai Schultz going to play well, we're lucky there. Adam Ariel goes, I'm out of this. I'm going to the pit lane, boys. See you later. So that allows Andy Barber and Jai Schultz to unclip their wings, and this is a battle for position on the racetrack and a battle for 4th and 5th at the moment. So this is definitely spiced up. It's a difference of strategy. They're both good to go to the end. Who's got the tyre wear and who's got the pace to be able to pull away from each other here late on to try and take the 4th and 5th position in this race. They're about 10 seconds off the back of Sam Katakuznos, who's sitting in 3rd place. So I tell you what, I said earlier in the broadcast, will we be talking to Sam Katakuznos? He's been on broadcasts all week. and he's looking good at the moment in third place, been through pit lane on lap 15, and he's right to go to the end. Jake Maloney's still going around in first as well. He hasn't come through pit lane. He's 40 seconds ahead of Scott Hasler, so that's going to be interesting too to see how long he's stationary in pit lane. Scotty Hasler, Sam Katakouzenos, Andy Barber and Jai Schultz, they actually didn't take tyres because they only had a stationary time of 8 to 9 seconds. So if we look at how long it takes to go through pit lane and then also topping up on fuel, Jake Maloney's still going to come out, I'd suggest, at around about 12 seconds in the lead of this mode race. This battle has been going all race long between Robbie Bradbury and David Leslie. So Robbie Bradbury's got the job done on David Leslie while we've been concentrating on other things, and he's made the move on the Dragon RC backed car of David Leslie. So he's obviously got his hand off that drumstick and got the job done as David Leslie just tries to put his car in the mirror there and goes, I'm here, I'm still here, mate. You might have your hand on a drumstick, but I'm still here. But now we see Jake Maloney into pit lane, Paul. So your leader has come into pit lane out of this motor race.
Yeah, 17 laps in of 25, so leaving that run quite late to come into pit lane. But if he wants to try and hold that 40-second gap, then he's probably not going to take tyres here, as I reckon Scotty Hasler will probably get the job done if Jake Maloney does take tyres. But that car's not lifted up, so I think it's just a fuel splash for Maloney, and he's making his way back out again.
100% it will be based on what the other guys did behind him. 9.37 was his stationary time, so he's going to make his way out of pit lane quite a fair bit ahead of Scotty Hasler. I did suggest it was going to be around about that 15-second mark. It's probably a little bit more than that. We'll see. It's actually dropping down. It's actually going down to about the 13-second mark, so I was pretty close. Matty Brunt joining in on the chat. Good evening to you, Matty. He hit the wall on pit entry, so that explains what happened to Matthew Brunt there, Paul. So unfortunate for Matthew Brunt hitting the wall on pit entry. That's given him a lot of damage as he's still stationary, 6 minutes stationary in pit lane.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there for Matthew Brunt. But just watching that gap, Aiden, and that gap is closed a fair bit, but now starting to rise again between Jake Maloney and Scott Hasler.
Yeah, that's the yo-yo effect of the pit stop there. I suggested it would be around 12 or 15 seconds of what the gap would be when they came out, and that's pretty much bang on what it is at the moment. So it's sitting at 13.4 seconds, going back and forward a tenth or two each corner. But Mulqueen now has got the job done on Andy Barber up into the 4th position. So Damon Mulqueen, he's up into 4th. He's got a further 9 seconds down the road to your third place getter of Sam Katakouzenos. So can the Synergy Sim Racing entry of Damon Mulqueen try and chase down Sam Katakouzenos in the 3rd place? He was last through pit lane on lap 12, and it looks like Damon took tyres because he was stationary for 25 seconds. So this is the difference of strategy, and Damon Mulqueen, one of the only drivers apart from Peter Kelleher we can see at 12th in the moment that has decided to do that strategy. So how's that going to work for Damon? Is he going to be able to drive the number 42 back up through the field and possibly get a podium? He's a little bit too far back to be able to challenge for the race winners. We're 19 into 25, but it's definitely looking good for him. We'll just keep an eye in the background of the lap times being set down by Sam Katakouzenos as opposed to Damon Mulqueen, and see if he's got enough laps to get this job done, as Jai Schultz has had a big moment in the background as well. So Jai Schultz off into the grass over the top there, and he's had an interesting night tonight, Jai Schultz. He could have come away with the win in race number 1. He's tried the strategy here in race, come away with the win in race number 2. He's tried to come away with the strategy in race number 3. Hasn't gone his own way at the moment, and he's made that little bit of a mistake there. So that's allowed Robbie Bradbury to just come up onto the back of him as well and challenge for the 6th place in this motor race. So we'll just keep one eye on Damon Mulqueen. If I have a look at it right now in my live timing, they're just coming across the start-finish line now. So we'll go through the top 4. So Jake Maloney just did a 1:18.52. He's now extended the gap to 15.6 seconds over Scotty Hasler. Scotty did a 1:20.13. Sam Katakouzenos in 3rd, 1:19.72 last time around. And Damon Mulqueen, and his best lap of the race, if you don't mind, 1:18.26. So Damon Mulqueen just took 1.5 seconds out of Sam Katakuzanos in the third place so far. So if my maths is correct, at 7 seconds with about 6 laps to go, if he keeps closing the gap at this rate, it's going to be a last lap battle for the miners for the third place on the podium tonight, Paul.
I was watching those times, and with 6 to go, it was or 7, I think. It was about just over a 2.5 second extra you'd have to do over the 7 laps, and if he was making up a second a lap. So he's definitely still got his work cut out for him. He's got to shave off a little bit more than a second a lap to try and catch Sammy K.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He's got to make every poster winner here and do his quickest laps of the race. We saw him do that last lap. He did do his quickest lap of the race of a 1:18.26. So we'll just do that. Sam K's just did a 1:19.87. We'll see what Damon Mulqueen just did, 1:18.65. So he's taken another 1.1 seconds out, or 1.2 seconds out of Sam Katakuzanos in third. So not quite enough at the moment, whereas we've got 5 lap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. Sorry, I got to count there. See that? 5 laps to go. So if he still takes out what he has been, they're pretty much going to be in behind each other. But it's like I said earlier in the broadcast, Paul, it's all well and good being able to catch the car in front, but it's another job being able to make the passes. That's the gap there you can see on this screen. That is the physical gap. So this is the battle for third place. I know we've got Jake Maloney and Scott Hasler up in first and second. They've got this one tied down for 1 and 2 here for race number 4. This is the battle we need to keep an eye on. It's down to 5.2 seconds, and it is dropping pretty quickly at the moment. So we'll just keep an eye on their lap times as well. There he is in the background, Damon Mulqueen, coming very quickly to Sam Katakuzanos as Sam Katakuzanos just catches a little bit of right-hand front brake there into the final hairpin, and he comes across the start-finish line. So let's have a look at his lap time here. As you can see there, that's Scotty Hasler making his way through. So last time through, Sam Katakuzanos 1:20.19, Damon Mulqueen 1:18.5, so 1.7 seconds taken out of Sam Katakuzanos there by Damon Mulqueen. So it is definitely going to end up a battle for third here if the times keep dropping the way they do. The gap is now down to under 4 seconds, 3.8 seconds, and it is dropping, and you can see it visibly dropping on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. There's no real need to actually tell you the times now, because you can physically see the gap now between third and fourth of Sam Katakuzanos and Damon Mulqueen. Andy Barber still holding on to fifth, Robbie Bradbury sixth, David Leslie in seventh. So we'll see what happens. Sam Katakuzanos, can he hold on for yet another podium here this week in everything that he races? Or will Damon Mulqueen from Synergy Sim Racing chase him down and make the move? We're 23 into 25, only 2 laps to go. Next time across the strike, he could be a little bit too far back. It's 3.5 seconds as Sam Katakuzanos makes his way into the final hairpin. This is Damon Mulqueen. He's trying really hard, gets the car rotated in the 42 through there, and he'll make his way on to the main straight to take lap number 23 or 25. So it's actually 3 laps to go, because Jake Maloney's so far up the road that he's already clicked over to lap 23. So last time around again, 1:19.99, so we can call it a 1:20 flat for Sam Katakuzanos and a 1:18.7. So another 1.3 seconds taken out of the third place of Sam Katakuzanos. So with 3 laps to go, if my maths is right, that's 3.9 seconds. Damon Mulqueen's 2.7 seconds behind Sam Katakuzanos. So this is definitely going to end up a battle for the third place on the podium here, Paul.
Yeah, definitely, and I can't wait for that final lap to come down. It's definitely going to be a spicy lap there between Sam Katakuzanos and Damon Mulqueen.
It will be. It will be. Will Sam Katakuzanos have enough to hold on? That's the question. He's not going to have the tyre wear, as we know that Damon Mulqueen come and took some fresh tyres. But is he going to have the racecraft to be able to hold on to it? That is what is yet to be seen. So Damon Mulqueen, they make their way down into the hairpin for this third to last time. It'll be 2 laps to go, this time across the start-finish line. That's the gap, ladies and gentlemen. Team Bushfrink Racing, 968 of Sam Catacousanos to Damon Mulqueen, third and fourth. 2 laps to go for Sam Catacousanos to navigate to try and speak to us here in the podium, because I tell you, they all want to speak to us up here in the broadcast booth, don't they, Paul? But Sam Catacousanos, they're in the third place. But I tell you what, by the end of this lap, we're going to see Damon Mulqueen right on to the back of Sam Catacousanos, and Sam's going to want to make that 968 Team Bushfrink Racing car as wide as humanly possible here for the last lap. So Sam Catacousanos just making his way through the mid-sector of the track. He just goes a little bit too hard into that corner, and that sacrificed his entry. The gap's now back down to 1.2 seconds. There's a car. Oh, I thought that was a car firing off in the background. That's where the racetrack goes. Don't worry about me. But Sam Catacousanos there, it's now down to 1.1 seconds. So every time I talk about it, it is slowly and slowly and slowly coming back, coming back, coming back. So here we go. Second to last corner here for Sam Catacousanos. Jake Maloney has already taken the white flag. He's 30 seconds up the road from this one, but this is the battle. Sam Catacousanos and Damon Mulqueen. Who gets the pleasure of talking to the Indosim Esports Network at the end of the broadcast? Is it going to be Sam Catacousanos or Damon Mulqueen? 1.1 seconds is your gap. Damon Mulqueen with fresh tyres. Sam Catacousanos with no fresh tyres. Is he going to be able to get the job done? That is the question. Let's go back and see where Jake Maloney is, though, on the track at the moment. He's making his way down through the final sector of this track, and he's going to take away an absolute emphatic victory here for race number 3, round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League here from Sonoma Raceway. Excuse me, as he makes his way into the final hairpin here, and he's going to come across the line and take the victory for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League and extend his victory, extend his championship lead at the top of the standings. Scotty Hasler will go to him in the background. I can see Sam Catacousanos there as well. Scotty Hasler will take home P number 2, but the battle between Sam Catacousanos and Damon Mulqueen at 0.3 of a second. There's Scotty Hasler making his way through the final turn, so he'll take the second place. Sam Catacousanos, is he going to hold on to it from Damon Mulqueen? No, he ran it wide, and he's let Damon Mulqueen get the job done. So Sam Catacousanos all the way up until the last corner had the job done. We're going to go side by side, but Damon Mulqueen's going to hold on, and Damon's going to get the job done over Sam Catacousanos. So I tell you what, that was a little bit interesting. We had to go to the leaders, but I would have liked to see that. Sam Catacousanos just outbroke himself a little bit. Andy Barber with a great job holding on to a 5th position tonight. So Andy Barber, the 05 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, holding on to P5. Robbie Bradbury still going around at the moment. He will come across the start-finish line very shortly. No, they've all come across. So Robbie Bradbury, David Leslie, Troy Mortensen, Nathan Cook and Peter Cook at your 10. Troy Mortensen with a nice top 8 finish tonight. Jai Schultz is in pit lane. He was 5 laps down. So Jai Schultz with the night he wanted to forget here for the Skypoynt TCR League. But now we move across to something that is going to be really interesting. So now we get a little bit of a drag race. So the winner of the race, Jake Maloney, he gets to now do a drag race down the drag strip at Sonoma against the safety car. It's something they want to do different. The TCR, Jake Maloney's going to get a 2-second head start over the safety car driven by Sebastian Vandel. So just keep your eyes on this one. This is something a little bit different as they just make their way across to the drag strip at the moment. So this is going to be a little... Jake Maloney's going to hit the wall there if he starts there. So Jake will want to move his car across a little bit. Jake, if you're watching the broadcast, move your car across a little bit, mate, because there's a wall right in front of you, mate. But we're about to watch, and we're going to have a drag race between a TCR. He's already got his right hand down. So, oh no, he's moving and back into position. Unless he can't see that. Yeah. Does that wall not even exist, Paul? Yeah, he's in the wall. That's interesting. But anyway, we're going to go green. They're going to have a little bit of a drag race. 2 seconds. Jake Maloney, he doesn't have fresh tyres, by the way, either, so he's going to struggle getting this car off the line. The safety car, he hasn't done any laps tonight, so he's going to be a full tank of fuel ready to go. So Let's see what happens here for the drag race. Will it be the TCR? It's going to have a 2-second head start over the safety car. Time will tell. He's in the wall. I got no idea how he's in the wall, but anyway, we'll see whether he gets off the line. Everyone, they're waiting for everyone to tune in. I'm seeing the viewers absolutely go up now. Yeah, he's stuck in the wall. He's stuck in the wall.
Oh, I thought he was just warming up his tyres, doing a burnout there, but...
well, he could be, but it looks like he's stuck in the wall. This could go absolutely pear-shaped.
Maybe he needs a safety car to come and give him a push out.
Yeah, get the tow. Get a little snatch strap to pull him out of the wall, mate. But don't know what's happening here. We'll just stay on with it for a little bit longer because this is going on a little bit too long.
I think you're right there. He's stuck in the wall. Maybe he needs... Oh, no, here he goes. He's
here
off.
We go. We're
he's
off. So he's got a 2-second gap, and he's going to absolutely win this by a mile. It's only a quarter mile. And we can't see anything there, but there we go. He's won that by a mile. So that was interesting. Oh, hang on. There's a braking zone where they're not going to stop. So the TCR got the job done there. 2 seconds was obviously way too much. But that was a little bit of interesting, well, something different anyway.
Well, Aiden, the TCR's still going. That's 2 weeks now that 2 out of 4 rounds that Sevy's totaled the pace car. So I don't think the officials will be happy with that. That's 2 out of 4 weeks.
Well, this is Sebastian Barndell, so he generally bins everything he drives, but no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But I'll tell you what, yeah, the old league officials won't be happy with that one. They'll have to rebuild him another car for round number 5. But your winner tonight was Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler in second, and Damon Mulqueen in third place. Sam Catacuznos home in fourth, Andy Barber in fifth, Robbie Bradbury in sixth, David Leslie in seventh, Troy Mortensen in eighth, Nathan Cook in ninth, Peter Kelleher in 10th, Adam Ariel in 11th, Jai Schultz home in 12th, Matthew Brunt 13th, Brendan Grotch in 14th, Corey Brand 15th, and that was your 15 starters here for the feature race tonight. But we'll go down and see if we can bring up your top 3 place getters here into the broadcast booth. We've got 2 of them in there, so we'll bring them up into the broadcast at the moment. So let's just do that very, very quickly. We'll wait for your race winner, Jake Maloney, to get into here very shortly. But we'll start off with your third place getter tonight, Damon Mulqueen, Synergy Sim Racing. JK Signs back, not on your livery in this league. But the 42 are Damon Mulqueen, mate. Bit of a different strategy there in race number 3. Pretty much the only one to take tyres by the look of that one. Had to drive your way back through the field and got the job done on Sam Catacuznos on the final turn to take home the final step on the podium.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dicey idea because I'm pretty sure I was either just behind. I think I was just behind him when I came in to do my stop in that final race there, and thought, you know what, might as well make the night a bit more interesting than what it normally would be. So bolted on a set of fronts and gave it a whirl. Bit dodgy for the first couple of laps, but once the fronts came up to temp, it was pretty good. So might be on the cards a bit more often potentially.
Well, it definitely worked. You were showing about 1.3 seconds a lap quicker than Sam Catacuznos in those final 7 laps. I was doing my maths, and it looked like you were going to end up right behind him on the last lap, and that's exactly what we saw. And I was saying on the broadcast booth, it's all well and good being able to try and catch the driver in front of you, but it's a different story trying to be able to make the pass. And it looked like Sam Catacuznos just sort of outbroke himself just that little bit by a metre or 2 into that final hairpin, and that just allowed you to put the car on the inside. And with those new fresh fronts, you got the drive off to the final turn to be able to take P3.
Yeah, I knew once I'd sort of... Well, I didn't actually think that far ahead about if I'd be able to catch Sam or not. I had to get through, I think it was Andy and Jai first, and ended up getting through them, and it was all like, this actually might be on the cards now, actually. So might as well give it a whirl and give it a try, and I was sort of mapping it out, and after Brunty brunted himself, he was giving me wee updates here and there on times and whatnot, and it sort of became, yeah, this could be quite possible, actually. And sort of, yeah, I think our maps worked out roughly the same. I think there was a stage there where I might have been more closer to 2 seconds a lap quicker, so I might have had a few more laps to play with it. But the tyres started to plateau out, and then it sort of became grabbing what I could of the tyres for those laps to try and catch him, and then he did a bit of a feint to the right coming into the hairpin and then moved back, and I was like, send it, and it paid off.
All the seas parted, as they say, mate. So P3,
like
but good job with P3 tonight, though. Not quite enough, different strategy. If you would have been on the same strategy, it would have been interesting to see whether you had anything for Scotty Hasler there in second. But P3 tonight, another big chunk of championship points heading into round number 5 next week. Damon Mulqueen, the 42 Synergy Sim Racing entry, mate. Big shout out to everyone involved for your podium tonight.
Yeah, so I just got to thank Brunty and Peter for coming along racing tonight as well. You guys are the broadcast. The guys that run the series, they do an awesome job. And then to all the sponsors on the car, Smith and Sons, jeez, losing it already. Wave Runner Performance, Dr. Epoxy, DGG Customs, Australian Laminating Company, DM Photography, DO Photo, Posse's Mechanical Repairs.
I like the little one there.
Yeah. Aimed at you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit.
It's a dog size quality, dog kennels, JK Signs, Newlon, 88 Media, and Aftershock PC.
No worries, Damon. Thanks for the little stab there too, mate. We do that on purpose. He loves it. Old Dave Oliver, do photo. But
yeah, he was in chatting before. He was in chatting before with us before Vince got going. So I didn't plan any of this bit, I swear.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's going to still stay do photo from me. But in all seriousness, though, it is DO photo. So Damon Mulqueen, big congratulations again on your third place again. Good to see you up here in the broadcast booth. We look forward to hopefully chatting to you next week for round number 5.
Yeah, same to you, boys. Cheers.
No worries. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your third place getter tonight, the number 42 Synergy Sim Racing backed of Damon Mulqueen. Not showing the JK Signs livery here tonight, but he is from Synergy Sim Racing. We go straight across to your second place getter tonight, the number 2 of Scotty Hasler. Scotty Hasler, mate, good night for you in the office. Some nice solid points there. Coming home in P2 tonight. Had nothing, unfortunately, for Jake Maloney, who was a class above. You got the wood on him in the reverse grid there, race number 2. But lap pace ultimately is what decided it here tonight. But good job for for P number 2 in the final race tonight, Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was Jake's just another level. I tried to sort of put a little bit of a fight up at the start of the race. I didn't want to just let him go, but yeah, you always knew that as soon as he got in front, he was gone. And then from there it was a little bit of a quiet race. I had Matt Brunt kind of behind me for a bit, and we were sort of very similar lap times. But I'm not sure what happened to him there. But so he was in the pits for a good while. So that was kind of a shame for him. But from there it was just a matter of seeing out the race and keeping it clean.
Well, we can let you know that Matty Brunt, he tuned into the broadcast here in the final race, and he actually had a little bit of an altercation with the pit wall on pit entry, mate. So that's what set sail to his race in race number 3.
Yeah, that's a real shame. I actually got close at one point there. I think towards it might have been race 2, where I kind of went, oh, that's getting a bit close under brakes. I'm sure it's easy enough to do.
Yeah, most definitely. But, mate, good racing. A little bit of a depleted field again here. We saw it last week for round number 3. Still a good field, though. 16 drivers. It created some good driving. Give us a bit of an insight, Sonoma in the TCR. I've done a lot of laps around Sonoma, albeit probably in a NASCAR through the NASCAR leagues I do, and they drive obviously totally different. How was the TCR around Sonoma with the undulating, the change of direction a lot? How was the car around Sonoma tonight?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was quite tricky to overtake, especially if you had someone that was fairly similarly matched pace wise to you. But yeah, I love Sonoma. It's a great track to lap. It was good fun.
Well, that explains why you got P2 tonight. But Scotty, mate, big shout out to everyone involved for your P2.
Yeah, big thank you to Zed Challenger and Calieth Racing, GoPro and Skull Candy as well, and to all the guys at Calieth.
No worries at all, mate. Big congratulations on your P2. It's not going to be the last time we talk to you here on the broadcast booth. How are you feeling heading into Brands Hatch round number 5 next week?
Yeah, excited for Brands Hatch. It's a shame that I don't think we've quite got the numbers to do a proper enduro. I was keen to team up with my teammate Brandon, but yeah, it'll still be a lot of fun.
Most definitely, and I look forward to calling it, mate, and I hope you're joining all the action here on the InterSim Esports Network. But that's your second place getter here tonight, Scotty Hasler. He come home in second place. We come across to the winner once again. It's no stranger to the broadcast booth, especially in the P1. Jake Maloney, mate, class above. It's just absolutely ridiculous to watch, if I'm honest.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, it was another good night of racing, and yeah, good to get back in the TCR car. And yeah, a lot of fun, especially in that reverse grid race. Scott did a really good job of getting through the traffic early, and obviously he was able to pick up the win there, and it was good to battle him for the win. And yeah, just a fun track to drive around Sonoma.
Speaking of the second race, Scotty Hasler, I did make mention, if you go back and watch the broadcast, it was all about him making moves early because you were sort of stuck back in the pack just inside the top 10 as Scott was in second place. It took him a couple of laps to try and get around the leader, and that just allowed you to make a couple more positions. And then once that elastic band snapped when you got into second, that allowed you to range right up onto the back of Scotty Hasler. But that race, in the second race, he didn't let you have it your own way, especially into the final hairpin. There's a little bit of paint traded there, and he wasn't going to let you get the win easy.
Nah, that's it. No, you never let anyone get a win easy, especially on the last lap. Yeah, no, he did everything he had to do, and it was good fun racing him. Got up the inside of him at the middle of the track, and we were able to race side by side and a bit of contact, but that's what it's all about.
Well, I'll ask you the same question, and I pretty much know what your answer is going to be. Going into Brands Hatch next week, round number 5, you've pretty much taken all the points here for the first 4 rounds. You're going to absolutely take a bag full of points out of round number 4 and extend your championship lead. How are you feeling coming into Brands Hatch next week?
Yeah, feeling good. I think we just got to scrape the rest of my car out of that wall to see whether we can make it to the next round. I think the chassis is looking pretty bent after that drag race.
Well, mate, you won the race, but then you run the drag race as well. So is there anything you're going to let anyone win?
We'll see. Look, plenty of rounds to go.
We saw you in the wall off the start. We thought you were actually stuck in the wall if you go back and watch the broadcast. But obviously that wall doesn't actually exist. We didn't think you were going anywhere off the start. So, but something a little bit different from the league here to do something different and have a bit of a drag race with the safety car. So that would have been a bit of fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. I in the car, I didn't actually see that there was a wall there. I had my graphics down low enough, and then when I got out and saw I was in the middle of a wall, it looked a bit interesting.
It was, but Jake, mate, first place again, extending that championship lead at the front. Big shout out to everyone involved.
Yeah, just a big thanks to everyone at TTR and VRS for all the data, and yeah, just everyone at the series and you guys for the broadcast.
No worries at all, mate. Our absolute pleasure. And no doubt we'll be talking to you in the broadcast booth next week at Brands Hatch. But your winner here for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League, it was Jake Maloney. So you're just going through your top 3 again tonight here for the feature race. It was Jake Maloney, Scott Hasler, and Damon Mulqueen taking home your podium positions. That ends the broadcast here tonight for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League. But it doesn't stop here on the InterSim Esports Network. We do have a couple of days break, but then we go back into action on Sunday night where we'll bring you the next round of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. We're back on the Asphalt Ovals and we're going to Auto Club Speedway. You'll see all the action live here on the InterSim Esports Network from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. Then we head across to the Molecule Australia Pro Car TCR E-Series on Tuesday night, where we'll bring you the next round of their series, where your location will be Brands Hatch. So it's a double Brands Hatch next week. Brands Hatch for the Molecule Australia Pro Car TCR E-Series, and we'll go live here from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But then we'll go Brands Hatch again next week on Wednesday for what we'll see round number 5 of the Skypoynt TCR League. Can Jake Maloney keep bagging those points and get another win around Brands Hatch? You'll see us live here on the InterSim Esports Network a little bit earlier from about 6:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So Once again, your top 3 place getters tonight here for round number 4 of the Skypoynt TCR League. It was Jake Maloney taking home the win over Scott Hasler and Damon Mulqueen, but that brings to an end our broadcast. We thank you, everyone, for tuning in on the broadcast. We thank all our partners and everyone involved. But from myself, Paul, and everyone at the InterSim Esports Network, we wish you a good night.